Hey mates, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eyes. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about Transformers Studio Series, The Transformers 1 Sentinel Prime. He is, well, I call him Butterfly Bot because he's got these little butterfly wings coming down his back. I just love it. I love his butterfly wings. He's just a butterfly. Like, hi, Stan. I'm gonna go get some butterfly poo. I'm a butterfly now. I love it. Or, the Monarch. My first thought whenever I felt this guy was like, oh my god, it's the Monarch. But he doesn't have his little eye antennas sticking out. I think if he had eye antennas, that would just be awesome. But this is Sentinel Prime from that CGI movie that came out last year. Voyager class came out a few months ago. It is well, it's not S rank. I'm going to spoil that a bit, but we are going to talk about it today and really get into it and discuss it from the blind perspective, because I'm not distracted by the pretty paint or well, the colors. I'm going to be talking about how it feels in the hand and things like that. And that's the first thing I want to mention. This guy feels good in the hand. He is a sturdy action figure. He's also got some really cool extra stuff to him. Like for instance, I know I just put him over here. Here it is. So this is his box mate for Studio Series. We've got Voyager Scrapper. And Voyager Scrapper and him are very similar in size, like and weight wise. They're both weighty and they're both sizey. My biggest problem that I had with Scrapper was, I get the whole thing of him being a Voyager, and people are like, he's deluxe class, and I'm like, yeah, he's kind of deluxe class, and I would accept the whole Voyager thing because I don't think Voyager's based on how tall a figure is. It's how complicated a figure is. Hot Rod proved that. And Evan mentioned that today in that live stream they did. But my thing on it was I wanted a more complex, integrated transformation for him. And that's what I didn't get. And I was like, the Voyager price point, you got to give us a good transformation. And that's sadly not really what we got with Scrapper. But him and Sentinel Prime here weigh about the same. I wanted to mention that their plastic qualities are both good. Like they are obviously box mates. So I'm gonna move Scrapper off to the side, just so y'all would understand. And I forgot to verbalize that bit. If I put them chest to chest, make sure Scrapper's standing as tall as Scrapper can stand. There we go. Making sure you can stand as tall as you can stand. Yeah, Scrapper comes up to just the top of Scrapper's head goes to the bottom of the collarbone for Sentinel Prime here. So we can put Scrapper off to the side. So Scrapper's not as tall as Sentinel, and I just wish he had a more complex transformation. I really do. Other than that, that he's going to be an excellent part of Devastator. But we're not talking about Scrapper today. We're talking about Sentinel Prime, the butterfly bot. Look at the little butterfly wings. Just flap them. Just flap his butterfly wings. It's just a fun play feature. I'm just going to admit it. I have fun just flapping the wings. He's a fun guy. So let's talk about the articulation first, and that is kind of a negative on him. Is he's got great articulation, but there's something up with his shoulders. They're really loose. Like and it's so light. It's so slight. There's barely any grip in that shoulder. And that's a shame because it's a pretty good shoulder overall. Like it's got good range of motion. He can raise it up to almost a little more. And if you break that connection point for the transformation, he can actually raise his arm up to be level with his shoulders, which is pretty nice. So he gets 45 degrees, I call it, and then you can go up to a 90. So that's decent shoulder movement. I just wish he could reach all the way up to the sky and pull 180 with his arm, and I disconnected that transformation drawing. That's another thing about him is his chest is really cool, but that joint likes to that clasp likes to unclasp itself, and that is kind of a shame with him. Now let's get. I wanted to point out those shoulders because that is, like, in my opinion, his biggest flaw. So we're going to talk about his accessories really depth because I need to talk about other parts of him, and it's best if we just get rid of his shield. I put the null rays on his shield because he had two blast effect ports on this shield thing. There it is. I took one of them off to showcase that. And this shield is really cool. And I like when you put the blast effects on. I put them on so one side of them has a little thing that sticks out from the edge. So what I did is I put those together and kind of made it feel like it's just one unit, and he's just got a shield that shoots things. It's pretty neat. It doesn't have a blast, it doesn't have a siege peg on the underside. It's got this little rectangular port that fits into the rectangular peg hole on the side of his arm. He's just got this rectangular peg hanging out on the side of his arm. And that's partly for transformation. That's also partly just to annoy me. So we're going to set that off to the side and really talk about this figure. So we'll look at his bottoms of his feet, and his feet are very well done. There's not much waffling happening here, if any at all. And I like the fact that you can actually untransform the feet just a bit and get this rocket out, and that's cool. Okay, I like that feature because you can pose him where you pull these little rockets out from under his feet, and it's not too hard to do. You just fold that rock, so his heels just folded up, and if you drag your finger from the toe tip, you'll find this boot cut here where he's got a heel, and you can pull on that heel, and it extends backwards, and then you can reach in here and pull again and pull out this barrel-shaped jet, and he can just use these jet boots. And then you close that up on either side, and now he's got these jet boots that hang out from underneath him. You can even kind of stand on them a little bit. I like them, okay? That's cool. That's something that's just really unique about this figure, and I love the fact that you can pull these jets out, and you can pose him on a flight stand, and then you can kick his legs up and stuff, and you could have him just kind of floating there on his jets. Or now this is something else you can do with him. And let's play a little bit. Let's get out the blast effect container. And we've got all sorts of things in here, but we're looking for something specific. We're looking for that one. I found one of them. All right, and then here's the other one. Yeah, there they are. Both of them. Cool. Now, I don't know if they're the right colors, but oh well. I don't really care too much about that. So we're going to put one into his foot there. Can it go in? Oh, it doesn't fit. I'm sad now. I've made myself sad. What about this? Does this fit in there? No, I've made myself even sadder. That doesn't fit either. Okay. But it does kind of look like it fits, so we're just... They're not siege port compatible. What? Why? Why aren't they? Seriously? Okay, so there we go. There you go. You get him on a stand, and then you can kind of pose him standing on these things a bit. I think that's kind of a neat thing you can do. I think it's a neat thing you can do. Let's see. We're just gonna touch him there. There it is. Yeah. You know, and if I let him go, will he stay? Will he stay? No, he won't. Okay, we caught him. But that's something you can do with this figure. It's just a shame that oh wait, these bigger guys may actually work very well. Let's try that. Now, he's not going to stick in them, but he can probably balance on them a lot better. The big fat ones. Can you do that? Can I get you to balance on those? Maybe? Oh, look at that! Look at that! Nuts! Okay, Alright, so that's enough playing around with those things. Let's grab him up and knock things over. Knocking things over here at blind_prime. Please like and share and subscribe. Okay, let's put these feet away. I'm done playing with them. Now, another thing you can do with these, if you want to, you can put the barrels away, or but you can leave the heels folded out, and then that's going to give him kind of this back heel, which allows him to get a few more poses that he may not necessarily be able to get otherwise. So he's versatile. He's a versatile figure. You can do a lot with his feet, and his toe maneuvers up and down. By the way, he's also got that ankle tilt. It's a good one. It is a big one. He can really get some movement in with those ankle tilts. Like that is, I love this guy. All right, so coming up here, we'll his knee only gets a 90, and then his hip is really loose, but it pulls 90 going up, less than 90 going back because of the wings, and then sideways pulls about a 90. Yeah. Oh, actually, he can go up more than that. Get your arm out of the way. Let's see what we can get here. Oh wow. Yeah, he can kick sideways at a good distance. That is good stuff. And he can bend his toe forward. Yeah, that's a nice kicking pose. So The sculpt work for his legs is very minimalistic, but now as we go up it, I'm going to describe other parts that we can do with him. For instance, right here, so we talked about those barrels on the underside, but if you reach on the side of his legs here, just find where his knees are, and he's got a decent kneecap. There's this panel that's just a big flat area on the side of his leg, and it's got this little thing, the indent sticking out of it. Well, find the crease at the front, towards the front of the leg, and put your fingernail in there, and then pull. And it may take a minute to get it really well. Maybe pulling on the wrong spot. Let's see. No. I need to pull in that spot. Come on, there it goes. All right, so you could pull the entire side of his leg open, and then you flip out all these little barrels, and then you can fold it back, and now these 1, 2, 3, 4 barrels are just kind of sitting out for all to see, and they are not blast effect compatible. Another missed opportunity there. Coming over here to the other side, we've got the same thing with the legs, and I just love that you can do this. You can just reach in here and pull out weapons, and then fold them back up, and it makes him feel better, in my opinion. He's just that much better because of that. That's cool. You know, it reminds me of heavy arms. It really does, with heavy arms, missile pods on his leg. But the thighs for, now we're moving up, the thighs for Sentinel Prime here, decent. They actually did some really nice little line work and textures and stuff. There's not really much more going on there, but it's all right. It's all right. Good work, in my opinion. We've got some good textures. I just wish there was a little more, maybe on the back end, a little more line work. But nobody ever sees that. So moving over to his core. Now, he does have swivel in the core. He can swivel, which isn't bad, but he doesn't have any sort of crunch on the abs. Now we're moving up here to the core area, and this is neat. Okay, I like how, the groin area feels very Gundam to me, with how that's shaped. But then you come up here to his chest area, and that also really does remind me a lot of Gundam. And I don't know why it screams Gundam to me, but it does, and it's probably partly because you've got this little door that opens halfway up the chest. And we're about to talk about that. But now below we got where his abs would be. You got some sort of etching to kind of symbolize a joint in there for him to move around with. We raise up his arms on the underside of his arms, on that side of the chest. We have some more little fun textures in there. Just layers of armor padded on top of each other, it kind of feels like. Then we now, before we talk about what's in his chest, I want to mention that the door here has these two little sharp peaks to it, and that's how you can find it. It's got these two little edges, and they don't really help you move it down, but you can feel above that to his head, and then find his chin, and drag your thumb down from his chin, and that's how you'll be able to pull the door open. It's the way to open it's right below his chin. Before I talk about that, his head can spin 360 degrees. It's just really a tight joint. He has a really tight joint there. He can also not crack his neck left or right, or move his head backwards and forwards. He's got he can go backwards just a bit. Look at that. Yeah, he can look up just slightly. He can also look down slightly. I lied there, but not by much. Can he crack his neck? He's not good at cracking his neck. Okay, now I'll talk about this cool bit. So, no, actually, I need to talk about his face. So he's got a really neat looking face. It's a mouth. He's got this really subdued helmet. It's a very nice helm. It's very relaxing. Oop, didn't mean to do that. It's just kind of a, I don't know, simplistic but fine. Like, you can tell this guy is he's loaded. And we get here, and we've got a really kind of hawk-like nose, and then this whole mouth thing. And it's really difficult to get in there and feel the eyes, but they are in there, and his face does say, oh, it feels a lot like hawk to me. I just get the impression of a bird of prey's face. Now, when we open his cockpit here up, this little thing that reminds me of the Easy-8 Gundam's cockpit, there is something in here we can pull out. Now, if we could pull it out, that'd be awesome. Can we pull it out? see if we get that. There it goes. So this is actually a face mask that folds up and covers his lower face. It covers his entire face, actually. And now he's got a completely different face, and you can close that up. Isn't that neat? I think that's a cool little feature. I really appreciate that they included that. Now his face feels really, really crazy. He's got all these. His eyes are still in the same place, but his lower part of his face, from just above his nose down, is now this really thick armor plating feeling like thing, and it's rough. It I don't know. It seems kind of Shredder-ish to me. Maybe a little less. I don't know. It's been a while since I felt Shredder or remember him, but I do remember he had a bunch of vents in his crazy face mask, and this guy feels like he's got a lot of vents. But the change to the head is immense, and it also allows you to increase some of the mobility now that his face mask is attached. He's got just the same amount of movement, everything like that. He's actually really neat. Now, if we can get this back, there it goes. So that is the head and the body. Here at the arms, he's got a couple of pauldrons, and once again, we've got a weapon kind of effect. Now these pauldrons are really cool. They remind me, they're similar to Solus Primes, except they're instead of that stuff on the edges, it's just cut off on the edges. But if you feel on the top of them, you can fold up a little panel, and then you flip out this thing. I think it's like a railgun, but you flip out this railgun and then it can wiggle back and forth. It's neat. I really like it. I think it's pretty cool, and I really enjoy it. Now we move over here and we pull out the other railgun, and now we can have two railguns firing at the same time. And it's just cool. Pew, 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 pew. He's got railguns just shooting all over the place, and he's got these 4 cannons on his legs shooting all over the place, and he's got this crazy awesome face mask. Let me come over here to his arms. His upper arm doesn't really have much. We talked about that articulation earlier, and he's got full 360 in the arm, somewhat of a butterfly, but the biggest thing you got to think about is right here where he actually does feel like he's got a siege port on the side of his arm, and then we come down to his lower arm where he's got that little peg thing for the, for the shield. But mostly this arm just feels like it's got a wrapping of armor. And neat enough, you can pull on his forearm. So you grab the bicep, and then you can pull down on the forearm, and you turn his forearm into a Mega Man blaster. I am sweating. Wow. The humidity is increased. But you can turn his arms into Mega Man blasters, and I just like that. I think that's a fun little thing you can do. It's just neat. So now he can Mega Man blaster it up. He's got railguns on his shoulders. He's got a face mask. He's just such a warrior robot. It's so cool. I love all these weapons that come out of him, and I really hope we get things like this in the future with other things. Like, I really want to get that Bumblebee, because the Bumblebee is very similar. You can turn him into Badassatron, and this guy, you can turn him into a really cool figure himself. Now, we fold up one of these cannon arms. They're not the easiest to put back. I gotta use 2 hands. There it goes. The hand itself doesn't have any articulation, and it is a static 5mm port hand, typical. Now we flip around to the back and check out the butterfly wings. Oh, it's butterfly wings. I love them. They come up, and definitely Monarch. He is a Monarch butterfly. I don't know what color he is, but I imagine him as being Monarch colored. Now, the wings here do all sorts of things. You can move them around in all sorts of different ways, but they rest on his back like that, and they are very reminiscent of like a cloak or something like that. It's a really nice feature. His wings here are really well done, in my opinion. That is just exceptional. I love the textures on them. They have textures and line work all over the place. And then you have the nose of the craft that's folded over the back, but we've just come to accept that that's going to happen with things. You're always going to get the nose of the craft. At least this time it does feel like it's more of a hood. Like he's got a weird spiky hood. But it works for an evil guy, right? Weird spiky hoods work for evil people and evil robots. Yeah. Now, that is Sentinel Prime. A fun figure, in my opinion. What the grade I have to give him? I'm going to give him a... he gets an A. He gets an A from me. it seems like he would be, actually, I don't know how to improve upon this figure because he's got so much. It's just there's these small quality control issues like the loose joints and the fact that this transformation part just pops out all the time. That's it. He's just got little things about him. But no, it's an A. He's definitely an A. He's an exceptional figure. He's a lot of fun to have. He is. If I felt more about him, I'd definitely be putting him in the S category. He is very cool. He is very cool. I do like him. I like the butterfly bot. It's definitely nice to get a butterfly robot. And I know, he turns into a jet, but you can't lie about these butterfly wings. So let's pull out a couple more size comparisons in today's video. We've got Ultra Magnus here, and Ultra Magnus is very much taller than Sentinel Prime, and I just wanted to showcase, like, wow. Sentinel Prime, the top of his head goes to the bottom of Ultra Magnus's big old chest armor. It's just insanity right there. Yeah, it is. Good boy. All right, and that's 86 Ultra Magnus, by the way. So other things to compare him to, we've got, we already compared him to Scrapper. We've got Megatronus here, and Megatronus is a nice little comparison. There we go. Megatronus is much taller than him, and putting them face to face, yeah, these two primes are very different from one another, but strangely enough, it works. It works for Sentinel to be like he is. He seemed like a bit of a more of a Scrapper style, more of an armored, more of a scout class style. So let's move Megatronus off to the side and take a look at Brawl from Siege. And Brawl from Siege stands up to just below the chest peak, and those two little pointy things that I talked about, just at those two little pointy things on his chest door. It's pretty nice little comparison. He can raise his arm up and wrap his arm around Brawn, and then give him a little kick away. I love doing that. All right, and then finally, who do we have? We've got one more figure to talk about, right? Where's he at? Lift. Not Lift. Tilt. Nuts. Speaking of Tilt, I tilted. So there is Tilt and Sentinel Prime. And Tilt and Sentinel Prime are very close in height. Like, wow, that is immensely different. You're almost the same height. The top of Full Tilt's head goes midway up the head of Sentinel Prime. There is a major difference in the weight, though. Tilt barely weighs anything at all, and Sentinel Prime here has some heft to him. It feels like you can knock out a cat with Sentinel Prime. Can't do anything with Lift except break it. It's just he's so light and airy. This is just wild. People are like, oh yeah, it was bigger in Combiner Wars and Titans Return, and I went, yeah, but the plastic was different, and it wasn't as heavy. It wasn't as hefty. It didn't feel as high quality. And this guy, Sentinel Prime, feels good. He's got some great plastics to him. He's an excellent little figure, and he fits in well with the collections. And I like his Mega Man fists. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I've been Blind Prime, and that's been Cream the Cat. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.